Good morning to you, and you're still listening to Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Sage Babalola, and you're listening to Mainland Focus. We've gone through all of the reports in the papers. Sandra and Fuhad have had comprehensive conversations about the stories that made it to the front page. But for Mainland Focus this morning, we're going to pick about two stories and have more extensive conversations about them. Well, one of the stories happened to be the condition of the Labour Party at this particular time. As you know, the intra-party fracas of the Labour Party is becoming more extensive than expected, and then there's been many conversations about how this is going to influence or affect the position of Peter Obi as somebody who's currently in the courts challenging the outcome of the 2023 general election. So the inter-party fracas of the Labour Party, we want to talk about how bad the Labour Party situation has become. Also, what techniques do you think the party might need to employ to make sure that they're able to keep things under wraps? And Peter Obi being, the de facto leader of the Labour Party, what exactly do you think he can do in a bit to, minimize the outcome of the fracas that is going on in the Labour Party? Do you even think that Peter Obi has what it takes? Do you think he has that much influence, for lack of better words, to even do anything about the fracas that's going on in the Labour Party at this moment? There was also conversations about the power sector, what's going on with our energy sector in the country. I mean, since time immemorial, we've always had conversations about how very poorly we are, especially when it comes to power generation. We've spoken about the DISCOs, the GENCOs, even TCN. Despite privatization of some kind, we're still not getting the sort of outcome that we would have expected. Now we want to talk about what reforms do you think would be necessary if we are going to enjoy energy in the country. Remember, Fuhad even spoke about how about 40 to 60% of areas in the country do not even have access to electricity. There are those who still use the estimated billing form of payment for energy, and you see them being made to pay exorbitant prices for the power that they're using. Businesses are collapsing because the cost of their production, a heavy chunk of their cost of production, is spent towards providing energy for their businesses. So we're talking about what reforms do you think will be necessary for the power sector? What do you think we need to do? Is concessioning the next step? Do you think we should privatize the entire thing, or do you think that we just need to work on the policies that we're currently operating on in the country? So that's a summary of the two focal points for this morning. Let's say good morning to Fuhad once again, get his perspective on these two focal points, and then open the phone lines for you to have a perspective, on these stories. Fuhad, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sage.
Yes.
I think for the Labour Party, again, while reviewing that story with Sandra, I talked about speculations. Speculations on the intention of this new leader of the party, or the factional leader, Lamidi Papa, who suddenly, surfaced from nowhere. I have to say surfaced from nowhere, because during the campaign, he was not that as,
we barely heard his name, yeah.
So, but again, with politics, all manner of things happen. Again, it's not impossible that there are fifth colonies within the party. It's not impossible that, because there are speculations that it's the opposition or the ruling party or the opposition that has sponsored people to go into the Labour Party to cause this crisis, and of course that would affect the petition, the substance of the petition of Mr. Peter. But I said no, it's not going to affect the petition. The crisis within the Labour Party is a crisis on its own. It stands on its own, that could be resolved through legal means or maybe through mediation. The petition is the petition, and the substance of Mr. Peter Obi's petition remains with the petition and the ability of Mr. Peter Obi to prove his case in court. So I don't know where, again, these are just speculations about, the man is coming to come and, of course, affect the substance of Mr. Peter Obi's case in court or the Labour Party. I'm sorry, I don't think that is going to, that is logical for me, because the petition is what it is. The petition will be judged on the ability of the party and Mr. Peter Obi to be able to prove their case in court. But the most important for me is that, look, this is politics. This is the way we play politics here. The crisis you are seeing in the Labour Party now is because the Labour Party has become a major political figure in the country. When the Labour Party had no traction, I think the best they had then was when Mimiko was governor with the Labour Party. After that time, nobody heard anything serious about the Labour Party. But now, they have, a presidential candidate that is not very popular. I think they have a number of senators now. They have House of Reps member now. They have a governor now. So it has become somewhat of a big party. And now you have this crisis. But I think that, yes,
Fuhad, yes, because the part of the report, should I say the allegation is that the Apapa faction had approached the tribunal. It was not the Apapa faction that initially, approached the court. It was Peter Obi. So is it possible for a faction of the party to go to the court or the tribunal, I beg your pardon, and ask that the cases be withdrawn? Or it has to be the person who initially, which is Peter Obi, approached the court for the case in the first place? Do they even have the authorities in their jurisdiction to go and withdraw a case that they didn't take to the tribunal in the first place?
You have situations where you have the candidate approaching the court,
yes,
filing the petition, and the party also filing its own petition.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying, it is Ajibola that is saying this now. I have not had Apapa saying he has actually approached the tribunal to withdraw the cases or say anything about the case. Again, when crises like this happen, you are going to have allegations and counter allegations. But what I'm saying ultimately is that, look, Mr. Peter Obi needs to step in now. He's the de facto leader of that party. This is another test of leadership for him. How he's able to step in and resolve the Labour Party crisis, to a great extent, will also show his capacity to lead. Should he become the president eventually? Because if your ability to resolve internal party crisis is also a test of your political capacity as a leader. And that's why I'm saying that he needs to step in. We should probably be seeing him holding meetings with them, calling them to a meeting. I'm sure they're going to respect him now, because the Labour Party knows that the pressure they have now is because of Mr. Peter Obi. I'm sure they will listen to him. The reason why we're also talking about the Labour Party is that, look, no democracy thrives without a vibrant opposition.
Right.
If we're going to be talking about proper democratic tenets, we must have a vibrant opposition, and we must set an agenda that ensures that the Labour Party survives beyond now. We can't rely only on the PDP. Look at the crisis in the PDP. We cannot rely only on the PDP as the opposition party. In fact, they have not even played opposition politics well as a party. That's the PDP. And that is the reason why we must have an agenda setting process that ensures the Labour Party survives, so that we can continue to hold people accountable. I always say the reason why the late stage Chief Obafemi Awolowo was very, very popular was not because he became president, but because he played opposition politics well. So we must ensure that the Labour Party survives as an opposition party for us to sustain democracy the way it should be sustained. And that's my opinion on that. This is the job for Mr. Peter Obi to do. He needs to go in there and resolve the Labour Party crisis.
Right.
And I actually believe they are going to listen to him.
So the power sector, yes. Let's talk about the power sector and the need for a reform, a total reform.
I talked about the power sector. Honestly, what we have now is not working. It has to be, a complete reform. The reform is not to they change something and leave some things. I think we need to change the entire thing, really, because it is not working. First, we need to unbundle that thing called the national grid. We can't continue to lump everything together. When we talk about devolution of power, it also has to affect the way we arrange our power sector.
Right.
We need to unbundle the power grid, and we need to probably revoke the license of all of these discos. Because even if you get enough, you are able to transmit properly. If you are not distributing properly, you still have a problem. So because I'm sorry, what we have is not working, and it would be nice to see how the incoming government will respond to the power problem of the country, because everything is tied to it. The economy of the country, a whole lot of things are tied to a lack of power supply in the country.
Right. Fuhad, I mean, it's the TCN that is really majorly handled by the government, because as far as I know, the Discos and the Gencos, I mean, private involvement is what's really going on there. And most of the time they've complained about, after generating power, they usually get, a feedback from the TCN that they are not capable of transmitting the energy that has been generated. They don't have the resources for that. And then if you cannot transmit, it will be impossible for the distribution companies to perform. So don't you think that since we know the weak link, maybe we should pay attention to the TCN and consider privatizing that aspect of our energy movement in the country, or what are your thoughts?
Sorry, Sage, we are not even generating enough to start
right.
with. Yeah, on that level, we are not even generating enough. I agree that there's a weak link in the transmission company, because again, when you have these grids collapsing every time,
yes,
it affects transmission processes. But still, there have also been reports or situations where the transmission company is transmitting enough and the discos are saying that, look, we don't have the capacity to even distribute enough.
Right.
You see the problem. There's a problem with generation. There's a problem with transmission. Even with distribution, the little that we've generated, even when the transmission companies are ready to transmit, you have situations where the discos are saying, hey, we don't have the capacity to distribute enough. So it's an all-round problem, and that's why the reform has to be holistic.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Fuhad, for your perspective. We'll open the phone lines now. Don't forget, we're talking about the crisis going on in the Labour Party. What is the best method you think the Labour Party might need to employ to solve the crisis? Do you believe that Peter Obi has what it takes, the influence, and also the power to intervene and do something about the Labour Party crisis? Also, we're talking about the power sector. What sort of reform do you think is necessary? Concessioning, privatization, the need to unbundle, work on our policies, etc., etc. What ideas do you think we might need to inculcate into our energy sector such that we begin to enjoy energy as we should? 0913-6000-410. That is the phone line. If you want to send a text message or a WhatsApp message, it's 0913-6000-430. We are also live on YouTube and Facebook, Mainland FM 98.3. As much as you're contributing, or as much as you're watching what's going on in the studio, you can also contribute using our social media platforms. Let's take our first phone call for this morning. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Kabalola, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, Mr. Fuhad, good morning, sir.
He's with you.
Okay. My name is Peter Obi from Shemilu.
Yes, welcome.
Actually, I would not have said anything again because Mr. Fuhad has said everything. In fact, what Fuhad said this morning is what I said in 2014 on another platform. And I was always hammering on that. And that was why I was named Power Minister from Shemilu at that time. But unfortunately, what we are seeing now, when we stop them, was just a child's play. I mean, the problem in the power sector. And we did not even know that it will escalate.
Hello? Oh, please try to make it back. 0913-6000-410. That is the phone line. 0913-6000-430 is for text messages and WhatsApp messages as well. Hello, good morning to you.
My line was still on now.
Oh, I thought we lost you there. Sorry. Please
No,
go ahead.
I think there was an interruption making ping, but I think it has gone.
Yes, please go ahead.
Let me round up this way.
Yes.
So the point I'm making is that I have, like Mauga has said there, I have suggested the revoking of the contract of these people called discos and maybe the Ajibola, all of them. Because unfortunately, who will help us, revoke this contract? A lot of politicians are stakeholders and shareholders in these places. So it's like we are handicapped now, we are helpless in the power situation. If you don't give people power, this is very time estimated bill they are still doing. It's still going on. In my shop, we are still paying it. And recently they came up with what they say is debt that we owe. They will put 1.something million on their line. They will put 600,000 on their line. Where did we get this debt? Where did we owe this debt? They will not tell us. So for me, the long and short is that they have to revoke the contract, like my guy has said. Dismantle it and let states generate their life and focus on what they do. Finally, on Labour Party, I think Peter Obi has already registered his petitions in court, and then he has his lawyers, and the judges have taken note. So I don't think they will need the Labour Party structure for judges to decide their cases. So let them do whatever they like. The case is going on. I don't think it will affect it.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yes, thank you, and have a wonderful day. Fuhad, let me pick your brain a little bit. Do you see a future where Peter Obi might separate himself from the Labour Party, and like what influence do you think that will have? Because according to the last caller, he says that he has done what he's supposed to do. Peter Obi is now a personality that we can we recognize as somebody who now has some sort of strong political following. So it matters not what party he aligns himself with. What do you think about that perspective?
We don't have independent candidacy in our constitution, so he still has to use a political platform. And so if he leaves the Labour Party and now goes to another party, it's still going to be the same problem because politicians are politicians everywhere. So that's why he needs to step in. Because if he moves from the Labour Party, which party is going to go to another party. During the last elections, before the elections, almost every party had a crisis. At least the major political party.
The ruling party
the ruling party had a crisis. ADC had a crisis. Even the Shore's party.
Yes.
They still have different cases in court as we speak. So politicians will always be politicians, but I think he needs to step in now, ensure that we sustain the Labour Party for sake of opposition politics.
Right. Let's go back to taking contributions. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Morning to you. Your name, please.
My name is Ajibola Bakari.
All right. Welcome. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Bakari.
Good morning to you, Mr. Fuhad. Well done for the good job.
Thank you.
I'd like to go specifically on the PHCN and the issue of power. We don't punish non-performance in Nigeria. We pretend over non-performance. We romance failure. We dance around it. We paint it. We give it all sorts of pretty names. INEC says we charge everybody to run to court. Now we have over 300 cases in court. When the president fails in his performance as Mr. President, yes, he continues the enjoyment of all the perks of office. People are not challenged for non-performance. So I've heard your comment, Mr. Fuhad, and everybody is stressing on reform. What reform do you want? Where you don't have arrangement for punishment for non-performance. Do all the reforms you want to do as far as the power sector is concerned. Once there is no arrangement for punishing non-performance, where people go away, go freely, scot-free, when they perform poorly, where people are not challenged for their non-performance, there's no reform that can alter it. So my solution to the lingering power problem in Nigeria is that we need just one reformation, one kind of reform. And that reform is that this is the line, this is the minimum, you cannot go below. Once you go below this minimum, this act will be placed on you. Then people will begin to perform. That's number one. Number two, there must be competition. Healthy competition. It proves now that what we have in the power sector arrangement is purely political arrangement. There is no arrangement for performance, for competition.
Thank you so much.
So I think that is the way forward. Until we do that in all sectors of our life, not just in power, in all sectors of life, anybody that fails must be punished.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution. Hello. All right. We lost that particular call. Let's see if we can take one WhatsApp message or a few. Okay. This message is not for us. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning, Sage.
Yes. Morning.
How's everything?
Good morning
for us.
Yeah. Good morning.
Please, what happened to Sandra? All of a sudden, we didn't hear from her again.
She's fine. She was here this morning. Yes. Please go ahead. She's doing great.
Okay. All right. My take this morning on the first issue. To us, was trying to be angry with Sandra when she was trying to bring up.
We're talking about Labour Party and the power sector. Please, let's stay on that. Thank you.
All right, no problem. There's no smoke without fire on that Labour Party issue. The way our Papa just came on all of a sudden, he sent so many messages to all of us because it's like he's working for people that will not know yet. Because, okay, now, see, he's trying to go and withdraw the case. There are two parties for this case, Peter Obi and the Labour Party. And all of them will testify. What our Papa is trying to do is to testify against Peter Obi that
but then it's allegations. Right.
Okay.
There are allegations.
See, that's why I said there's no smoke without fire.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Whatever he's trying to do, Peter Obi has already asked him. That's why he put himself as a respondent to the case, not only on Labour Party. Concerning power issue, there's no way this centralization of everything, this central government we are trying to play, it will not work. Until we onboard us for ourselves, that's when things will really work. Because in my area now, for some time we have not been having power. And they are still bringing this estimated bill to some people. How the people will be paid for darkness? please let us do something in proper way so that Nigeria will move forward. Have a nice day.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Fuhad, you wanted to react to something that was said earlier by the last caller when he said that when he was talking about Apapa and his plot and everything. I saw your reaction. So
I don't think it's good. Again, these are allegations.
Right.
It's unfortunate that the Labour Party that is supposed to be united, have a united front, going to court, presenting their case, trying to, get.
And
maybe,
they all will testify.
Of course,
of
course, the party would also have to. But the reality is that, look, it's going to go beyond the party. The Labour Party is a party in the case. Peter Obi is the candidate, and Dati Baba Ahmed. They have their own case separate. So it's again, this case will be decided not because the Labour Party or somebody is going there to withdraw. On what basis are you going to testify against his own party?
Right.
See, I think these are just speculations that we have to just wash aside.
Right. Let's take a few WhatsApp messages before we proceed to taking phone calls again. Good morning, Sage and Fuhad. Godwin from Ilasa. So sad that the greed of Nigerian politicians have eaten deep into the fabric of every part of this country, the Labour Party inclusive. Fuhad has said it many times that remove Peter Obi from Labour Party, you would have almost an old basket kind of party, which unfortunately they were before Peter Obi joined them. Peter Obi should stamp his feet as the de facto leader of the party. Secondly, what we see happening is as a result of the fact that the Labour Party is now a power-wielding party. Hence, the politicians are positioning for the financial drop-ins, which may stay reigning soon. For our power sector, firstly, politics should give way for the right people who have the know-how for energy to come in. South Africa generates about 47,000 megawatts, but yet they gave free license for every company who can generate 100 megawatts to go ahead. No reform can work in this country until we have people who have love of the masses at heart. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Godwin from Ilasa. Very well put together. Another message here. Nigeria electoral laws loopholes have created a lot of problems for the winner of the elections and the losers as well. That's why someone will have the will to challenge the presidency of 2019 up until this time in 2023. Secondly, the bad apples in the Labour Party are being used by the enemies of democracy and good governance to rubbish court suit established by the candidate of the party in the just concluded general elections. But God forbid that they succeed. Chika Bende from Treadfair, Lagos. All right. Let me take one more. Good morning, crew. Balao from Ukwoba. He says, congrats to the president, the most traveled and borrowed president. The worst election the world has ever seen. Bad economics, cashless policy, ethnic division, insecurity, no refinery, no obedience of court laws, no press freedom, etc., etc. Unfortunately, they are handing over to another person. Thank you very much for your message. And I know this is not Bola, by the way. I know who you are. So you don't come and whine me. I know who you are. But thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate you. Let's go back to taking phone calls. And please be reminded that we are on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Mainland FM 98.3. You can drop your submissions there as well, and I'll read it live on air. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, Madam Sage and my dear friend Fuhad, how are you today?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, God bless you. I'm Barrister Peter Oku. I'm calling from Maryland.
Welcome.
Yes, on the two issues you are focusing on this morning, my take, first of all, on the issue of
the Labour Party.
The Labour Party. You see, the problem is that I think there is impatience because the current political environment in Nigeria is case that people are mainly going in there to make quick money. There is hardly any politician, maybe a few, that is worried about whatever Nigerians are going to gain or suffer. They are just for themselves. I'm sorry to say it, but that is the truth. And I think, like other political parties, Labour is no different. The people in Labour, were like strange bedfellows, before this Peter Obi issue came up. And when Peter Obi came in, he, because of his popularity, his followership was strong. And so he started playing a very dominant role in the party. And some of the older members of the party didn't like it. So the problem now is to accept his leadership of the party by the older ones. My advice is that Peter Obi should walk a very fine line, you know, try to integrate the Labour Party more, you know, because Labour Party is an already marginalized party. So they have to, they cannot afford to marginalize themselves. They have to calm down, bake the cake. When the cake is big, then everybody can share. You cannot share cake that is not baked already. That's my advice. On the issue of NEPA, of power generation, you see the problem with this power generation is twofold. Because I was involved as a consultant in the privatization and commercialization of public enterprises.
Please round up.
Which was handled by Atiku Abubakar, our vice president. You see, the process was very corruption-ridden. Most of the people who bought these schools, they don't have the money to invest.
Thank you.
They just come, they want to make the money.
Thank you very much.
And they need the money. Like, if you compare with like cement, Dangote invested heavily.
Thank you so very much for your contribution. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, I greet you. This is Babaji.
Welcome, Babaji. Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Good morning to you.
Yeah, bless you. Bless you. Quickly, let me start from the Labour Party, the quagmire. Like the former caller said, the greed. Nobody should say probably the ruling party was the one that is causing confusion. To me, I would disagree. You know, even before Obi came to Labour Party, we have Labour Party. Mimiko came under Labour Party, if you have forgotten. The governor, former governor of Ondo. Even that of Adam Soshemole. But at the end of the day, it was court that restored back. And at the end of the day, both governors left the party. The party has been like that for a long time. And I think they should manage it very well. They should not give excuses that somebody wanted to destroy. It's not like that. Still remember Peter Obi himself. He was with Abga, if you remember. And we are made to understand that he promised Abga when Little Juku was alive. That is not living.
Defect.
Yeah, but he left. You know, he went to PDP. And I remember the governorship election of Anambra. He came up with another candidate. And he was the one that put Willie Obiano there. And Willie Obiano beat that fellow. So if you look at it, you understand that politicians, they know how to play their game. And for NEPA, I think the president-elect, eventually, if he started hitting the ground running, he should focus. I listened to some of his campaign promises. I think a manifesto, I don't know the name I will use now. And he said that power sector is key. That if you don't have prepared meter, don't pay. I think if you can be able to handle that sector very well, because there's no country in the world that will move forward without stable power supply. Thank you. Let me leave it.
Thank you so very much, Fuhad. I'm glad he actually brought the metering up again, because there was a program of some kind, bridging the metering gap. I can't remember the team for that program, and they said the government was going to provide free meters for people.
It was supposed to be free. It started free.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily met any beneficiary, but there are people who claim that they enjoyed that metering. But then the metering gap has still not been bridged. There's still people who are using estimated billing 50,000 naira for a self-contained with no gadget or nothing like that.
It's because most of the discos are not ready to do the right thing. I keep comparing the power sector to the telecom sector. Why are the telecoms guys making a lot of money, doing very well, and the power guys are struggling? Ordinarily, prepaid meters are supposed to give them assured payment.
Yes.
Nobody's going to owe you, because you don't pay, you don't use it. That's the advantage of prepaid meter.
Right.
So why are they not? They are supposed to be eager to give people prepaid meters for free, because it's assured payment. You pay before you use. That's why it's called prepaid. That's what happens with telecoms now. You load your card and use your data or your call, credit.
You don't pay nothing for
but here they are so happy to allow the status quo to remain. They struggle to give people prepaid. In fact, people now pay for prepaid meter. They pay as high as 60, 70, 100,000 for prepaid meters. Yet you have to wait for maybe like 3 months or so to get it. And then a lot of, customers are still not metered properly, still the old meter. So it's an opportunity to, do estimated billing, all manner of things. So what has changed?
Some people have complained that when they get their prepaid meter, they're usually debt on the meter.
If you are owing before, so they move
to somebody else that went to collect the meter. No, I'm telling you that people are saying when they collect meter newly, they would find that there's debt on the meter. You'll be asked to pay a certain amount of money before you can access electricity.
Well, again, I don't know about that, but the reality is there's a lot that needs to change as far as the power sector is concerned.
Fine, let's go back to taking contributions. Hello.
Hello, Babalola.
Yes, morning to you. Your name, please.
My name is Ajibola.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, to start from where one of the Safawa statement, the issue of rancor in labor. I want to start with the word surface from nowhere. That is Apapa himself. You remember, if we use the word surface of Apapa, Apapa surfacing from nowhere, the same thing applies to Obi himself. Formerly in Abga, he went there, like the last caller said, he went to PDP. He was vice president of Yachiku. You understand? At the end of the day, he cannot get to what he was. He came to Labour. And you remember, when the people that formed Labour, during the time of the man that always wear the cowboy cap is the chairman of Labour. You understand? The whole Labour too, because of the separation, because of the disagreement between them and Obi himself. They have their own legitimate Labour again, which they are even supporting APC. So you see, look, when we see the people that are already in Labour, they will not find it easy. They will not take it lie low because Obi came from somewhere and come and on them. So it's not going to find it easy. You understand? So that's the way I look at it. And the issue of the what's it called? Well, let me finish the Labour. You see, to me, Nigeria want to move forward. I advise him not to worry himself. We want Nigeria to move forward as far as the election is concerned. On the issue of NEPA, well, everybody knows this course has disappointed us. I want the federal government, the incoming government, to borrow lead from what happened in the past. National Oil, those days, is government oil company. Unipetro, AP, they are government union. But at the end of the day, the government cannot run it. It privatizes, and they have a percentage. So I'm advising government, the incoming government to look into that. Because this course has disappointed Nigeria, and we are not enjoying it. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Have a better one. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Okay,
yes.
Mr. Fuhad.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Where is Sandra Congo now?
He's fine.
He's good. Please go ahead.
See, all this talk about the Labour Party like this, we already read in the news that party has been infiltrated. There's a strong something going on that this Labour Party is scattered. The real reason is that they want to thwart the court case that is going on. That's all. There's no other thing. All those people you see disagreeing with themselves, they have been bought over. I am telling you. So they should not tell me that it's because Obi came and entered there. There was no problem until this court case. There are some people that don't want the court case to go ahead. That's why they are just scattering the Labour Party. But it will not work for them. Obi will reclaim his mandate. I tell you this. Thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Suj, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Fuhad, good morning.
Good morning, Don Peters.
Yes, I'm calling from Ilikbeju.
Welcome.
And on the subject matter, I would like to talk about the Labour Party. Fuhad, as far as I'm concerned, there is no problem in the Labour Party. We have people who come to, I would say they come to hijack the party. They are papa of a guy. And he have already laid down his priorities. And one of is to withdraw the case in court, allegedly.
But we know there is no smoke without fire. I would like to advise our Papa on something that maybe he did not know. The case in court, it have gone beyond Obi. It have gone beyond Tinubu. This case is a Nigerian case because so many things were captured in that petition in the court. And Nigerians have been seeking for court interpretation of all the cases, some of the things they captured on that. And anything that try to thwart it right now, I don't know what will happen. But the truth is this: the Papa is wasting his time because the interest of the whole world is on this case. Because a lot of things is at stake. A lot of litigations that need a proper judicial interpretation is contained in this matter. If he withdraw it so that the status quo will remain, is that what he's trying to do? So whatever they are trying to do, I think is therefore in futility, because the matter must go on. The crisis they are trying to set in a Labour Party, I think is a waste of time.
Thank you.
But to get a proper interpretation of some certain things that is captured in those petitions. So Papa come late, just as he surfaced from nowhere. I think he will just all what he's trying to do will die a natural death, because so many fans, so many people are interested to get a judicial interpretation on what is to be her petition. So I think he came late. I think he's late. He's late. I must tell you the truth.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's take a few messages. We have a text here. Hi, Mainland FM. Unzube from Surulere. For me, I don't believe Papa has a say in Peter Obi's petition, but I suggest Peter Obi steps in and defend and protect the integrity of the Labour Party. Thank you very much. There's another WhatsApp message here. Good morning, press review crew. The current distributing companies, most especially the IBEDC, lacks the capacity to deliver on electricity supplies. Their service has been nothing to write home about. A total reform of the sector is the only way forward. Revoke the licenses of those disco dancers called disco. Okay, wordplay. Thank you. Good morning to you all at Mainland FM. I'm Pastor Sunday from Agoro. I'm not a fan of the Labour Party, but I will advise Peter Obi not to lose focus. The fracas in the Labour Party is probably sponsored in order to derail Peter Obi. Labour Party is a very big threat to the ruling party. They know that if they frustrate Obi, PDP would be indirectly affected one way or the other. I will advise Obi to continue to fight to the end so that we will see who actually is the winner of the election in the right way. Okay. Thanks. Good morning, all. If a president can apologize for incompetence, lack of capacity. Okay. No. Thank you very much for your contribution. Let's go back to taking phone calls. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Sage.
Good morning to you. Thank you.
Good morning, Fuhad.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, Fuhad, I really appreciate your submission this morning. My name is Tom.
All right.
If you remove Peter Obi from the Labour Party, the Labour Party is zero. Am I correct on that?
100%.
Yes. So irrespective of what is going on, and maybe people are saying the crisis in the Labour Party at this point in time, it is a total waste of time, because the case in the court has already been submitted, and the whole world, not only Nigeria, they are looking at that case and how it would end. You understand? So it's a total waste of time, and it cannot affect the case in the court. You understand? And Peter Obi may not have anything to do on that matter, especially if it is a sponsored crisis. If it's a sponsored crisis, Peter Obi cannot and he will not be able to even have anything to do on it. So he should not lose focus on the case in the court, which everybody is behind him to see how to end this matter successfully. Now, what you said something that Labour Party is opposition party. Labour Party is not opposition party yet. I keep on saying this to everybody. Labour Party can never be opposition party yet until issues in the court are properly resolved. You understand? That is what the whole people is looking at. Labour Party is supposed to be the ruling party in this country. Now, for example, looking at what we said in the Genco and Disco,
that issue cannot be resolved as long as this government is still in control. It cannot be resolved. So it is only another party. It is a total different administration that should be able to unbundle that place and set everything right. So as long as we are continuing with this government, nothing can be achieved successfully in that sector. Now, let me tell you something. Now, the president is retiring. And he now said that people should not come and disturb him. As an elder statesman who's supposed to be there for advice and whatever, he said that as he's retiring home, people should not come and disturb him. And if they should come for anything...
Is his right now?
I mean, he can decide to
he can decide to just say, no, don't disturb me again. He's within his right, don't you think?
He doesn't want his tentacles in politics anymore. I don't think we can take that away from him. But let's take another phone call. 0913 6000 410. And WhatsApp and text messages 0913 6000 430. We'll take 2 more phone calls and just round off with WhatsApp messages. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Bature calling from Oshodi.
All right.
I greet you this
Good morning, Bature.
I greet you. Let me actually throw a small light on this Labour Party issue. The truth is, Peter Obi actually made Labour Party be vocal, be popular the way it is today. More than the way Labour Party used to be. We understand that Labour Party has been there. And the president actually come, they mention of Mimiko and Adan Sali Oshomole. With knowledge, Labour Party actually produced Mimiko as a former governor of
Ondo State.
Adan Sali. I want Nigeria to actually understand that there's a difference between Labour Union Congress and Labour Party. Adan Sali Oshomole, who was a former governor of Edo State, he has never, I don't know whether before he contest as a governor of Edo State, whether he actually run to Labour Party. But right from the year, that was 2007, year about, he started a campaign with a broom logo with AC.
With AC then.
Then before the party become ACN, that is from Action
Congress to Action Congress of Nigeria.
To Action Congress of Nigeria. Then 2014 before they marched to what they have today. So that is what I want to correct. Then the issue of Peter Obi, we do respect to the young man and who some Nigeria actually see as their savior. Some of us feel as if it's not today, because what you said, he should step into the crisis of Labour Party. Some are saying there is no crisis. That is by the way. The Abga that he ruled Anna Abga with, before he even left that seat as a governor of Abga, that is governor of Anna Abga state. Since some school of thought, we in Nigeria, we understand that some factions of Abga have problem with the health issue there. There is a former chairman of Abga today that will still come out to tell you Peter Obi will not have anything good, XYZ. We watch television, we see all those interviews, we see all those things. That is to tell you that where he has been coming from before, there was crisis that he was unable to fix. I don't want to go into how he run to PDP because all Nigerian politicians will actually find their way to be relevant.
Please wrap
I am not against of his running from one party to other party.
Thank you.
But the truth is, this is my stand. I doubt whether the crisis of Labour Party, whether Peter Obi will be able to fix it when he was unable to fix the one of that is as soon as Abga is.
Thank you.
Compared to Labour Party that is actually work to become a national political party, XYZ.
Thank you so very much for your contribution. Please, when we prompt you to wrap up your contribution, please do so. Let's just take a few WhatsApp messages and call it a wrap for this morning. Good morning, mainland crew. I keep wondering why Labour Party are fighting amongst themselves. This is absolutely ridiculous, as they really need to put their house in order if they want to be relevant in the next 4 years. Jacob Koo from Bariga sends that particular message. Hi, Mainland FM. The issue in the Labour Party, my opinion, is that, as I have said in my previous chart, let Peter Obi leave Tinubu for the 4 years and go and create a party from scratch. Obedience do not know party, they know the person. You will see all his followers will follow him and he will win the next election, and we will see the Labour Party probably crumble. For the power distribution, the two major issues here is corruption and ethnicity, where slots in the power sector are given to those who have money but no knowledge on how to run the disco, and also slots to those from the same tribe and ethnic clan. As always, let us preach against tribalism and ethnic bigotry. A message from Sean. Thank you. Good morning, Sage and Fuhad. On the power supply, I think the power sector needs to be unbundled. The idea of generating and sending to the grid should be abolished. Millions of free prepaid meter were given to discos by the federal government, which is already exhausted. Hence, the need for individuals to purchase. The money used to buy this meter will be refunded to the customers by the discos over a period of 4 years. This is the new guideline by the NERC. Labour Party should please settle their crisis and stop attacking each other. The political party is the problem befalling them. Let them take responsibility and not look for people to blame. Joseph from Ogba. All right, thank you very much, Joseph, for your message. There's another one here. We can see the desperation from the power mongers as they are adopting the old trick of causing confusion in the Labour Party. But let them know that Nigerians are wiser and we must remove the cog in the wheel of democratic progress in Nigeria. Their contractor of destruction of Labour Party will fail, and so they better save their money for meaningful things. Apapa, the so-called factional chairman of Labour Party, should know that he risked jail term for asking the withdrawal of Obi's case without the consent of the petitioner. The people that gave the contract for destruction of the party, you've said it before. Steve, thank you very much.
What kind of contract is that?
Aside from that, that's actually, this person worded the question I was trying to ask you better.
Right.
And I think you've explained that Peter Obi's case is different from the party's case. Because I was asking that, do you have the right to go and withdraw a case that you did not submit in the first
Peter
place?
Obi that he has their own case as candidates. The Labour Party has a case as the political party.
So it's a Labour Party case that he's allegedly trying to withdraw from the court.
And I doubt that can even happen.
I doubt that as well, because I mean, you can't just go as an individual and try to withdraw a case that was by a party. Exactly. Well, let's just draw the curtains for today's conversation here. Thank you, Fuhad, for your submission. Thank you for the calls and the text messages. The phone lines are still buzzing. Unfortunately, we can't take any more contributions. 9:45, we'll be back definitely for Global View. So stay with us. You're still listening to the sound of Lagos, Mainland 98.3 FM.